Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. This episode is part of our Bookseller Lightning Talk series, in which booksellers present short talks on tech tools, organizational strategies, communication methods, or innovations they've made in their stores.
Next up, we have our Independent Bookstore Day Director, Courtney Wallace. Courtney, I'll allow you to introduce yourself and let me spotlight you.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Like Jen mentioned, I'm Courtney Wallace, the Independent Bookstore Day Program Director. I've been here for about 4 years. This is our 12th Indie Bookstore Day, which is really exciting. We already have over 1,200 stores signed up, which has already surpassed what we did last year. So this is really exciting. And Kim and Susan, when you both mentioned that stores that you've gone into, or I think Meg also mentioned stores you've gone to in the past that have said like, wait, what's Indie Bookstore Day? Or like they don't participate. We're hoping to get those folks on board just so we can keep expanding every year. So yeah, I plan on talking to you all about the planning guide. So kind of a more general overview, since Susan and Kim did such a great job on like being creative and thinking outside the box. I kind of want to give like a general kind of resource. So I'm going to put in the chat before I screen share where the guide is located if you haven't seen it yet. If you have, that is fantastic. I just wanted to bring it back up since this is something that we share in all of our newsletters just as a resource and just to point you to something if you're looking to kind of get ahead or I don't know, just make sure you're on top of things. So let me make sure this is shared correctly. So this is the second year we've actually had this guide. I thought it was a good resource since I don't know, I'm the type of person that likes to have everything laid out already. Like I like to put things in my calendar. Like even if it's September, I want to know what I'm doing in May, and April for Indie Bookstore Day. So that's kind of where this idea came from. So it's ever expanding. It's comprehensive, but we're still adding examples. Like Susan's Llama-Palooza is an example in here. Kim, I'm going to get your exclusives as a guide for next year's planning guide in here as well. So this is just something that I feel could give a nice overview if you're new to Indie Bookstore Day or just need some refreshers. I don't think we mentioned, if you aren't aware already, it's on April 26th this year. So if you don't have that in your calendar, please feel free to add that. And this is just a good way to get started if you haven't already. And don't worry, you're not too late. The ideas that were shared today and that are in this guide have given you plenty of time to make them happen. So some of the things I have in here, just if you aren't aware, we send this out usually in the late summer, just so you all have the timelines, especially for signing up. So the signups for exclusives has passed. So that ended in November. However, if you were interested in the exclusives available through the catalog, you can reach out to your Ingram rep and see what's available, since they'll probably know in the next few weeks, since all the publishers are sending their quantities over now, there's probably going to be some overages. So if you didn't get a chance to sign up or order, or maybe you just joined ABA's membership and just heard about the exclusives, reach out to your Ingram rep. They'll have a better sense of what's available than I will. But just know that there might be some things that are like definitely not available anymore, but there's probably going to be some overages. So yeah, if you aren't interested in doing those exclusives, I appreciated Kim mentioning like the Bonfire partnership. So you can reach out to Bonfire and purchase the design that we have. And like, I'll probably share this in a bigger screen, but we have the sample tote bags, which this design will also be on the t-shirt. This was a partnership we had with Adrian Tomine through Drawn and Quarterly. So we're really excited about this partnership and this very unique design that is on the Bonfire shirts. And those are made to order. So if you order them now, maybe even early April, you'll still be able to have them for Indie Bookstore Day for your staff or to sell to your customers. But there's also that customizable option that Kim had mentioned too, where it's a one-time Bonfire like promotion. If you haven't worked with them on a custom design before, you can make something for Indie Bookstore Day and make it really unique to your store by adding your store name or whatever it is that you would like. Some other things that are on here for participation, if you just want to have your name or your store on the map, we produce a participation map on indiebound.org. So that sign up is through March 31st. So that map will launch on April 4th, and we promote it through social media ads. We promote it on our websites, all over the place through press releases. So if you want your store to be just named as we're doing something on Indie Bookstore Day, whether you're carrying exclusives or not, we're happy to add you on there. We'll just need you to fill out the participation form, which I'll add to the chat after I'm done sharing my screen. So yeah, we're excited about that map. It also lists all of your store plans. In, I think, the first newsletter of March, we will be sending out a call to submit your events and your activities. And we'll be sending that out every single week in case you don't have your plans solidified yet. But we use that as a way on our website to showcase to other stores, hey, here are some ideas if you haven't thought about it yet, or if there's passport programs that they want to jump into that are in their area. We just want to make sure those are available as a resource, but then we also share that information on the participating stores map to customers. So they'll get a chance to see what your store is up to through us as well. All right, so here's the month by month kind of breakdown. Like I mentioned, I like to have a to-do list every single time and for each month. So we kind of passed all these other pieces, but just jumping into, I'll go back one, into February. You're already attending the lightning talk, so yay, that's awesome. But really, yeah, start brainstorming and thinking about who you want to invite for your events and really utilizing the community and local artists and authors. I loved how Susan and Kim were both talking about leveraging who's in your community, your partners you already have, and just making it a team effort. I think this is a really good promotional experience for everybody in the community, especially local businesses working together. We have some ideas on how to get your marketing plan started. We've just added a bunch of assets to bookweb.org that includes our new logo. So we've updated our logo if you haven't seen it yet. Just based on feedback and just wanted to freshen it up. So we have our logo there. We have a bunch of assets as well as the exclusive photos. So if you want to start promoting what you'll be offering through our Ingram exclusives, you can feel free to do that as well. We also encourage folks to check out your iPage if you haven't already. Like I mentioned, Ingram is kind of in their hands now. Everything that you have submitted, if you ordered exclusives, we sent on to Ingram. So if there are any issues or there's something that's not showing up that should be showing up, make sure you reach out to your Ingram rep for that. And then March, which is wildly right around the corner. Just starting to think more about your plans. We'll be having Indie Commerce 1.0 and 2.0 webinars. So if you have those sites, they'll show you how to add your exclusives to your website and make them more viewable. We won't have the ability to add to your cart or to a customer's cart until April 26th. So we do that. They can still be viewable on your websites, but we make it not purchasable or added to the cart because we want to drive customers to the store and have them take part in these wonderful activities and events that are taking part or that you're putting on for that day. You can still set aside some things for the online store and for the in-person shopping experience, but that's just why we do that. We'll have a press release template that you can send out with examples of quotes you could use and kind of fill in with your own information.
Courtney?
And then, yes.
We just realized because we can't hear the paper flipping.
No,
the pages aren't moving.
Oh no. Let's see.
There we go. There's one.
Can you see the
Yes.
Weird.
Yes.
Okay, maybe I'll just exit out every time I flip it and then see. That's very strange. I'm so sorry about that.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it's okay. Yeah. So anyway, we're on the month by month guide, kind of steps and everything. And just wrapping up the March part. So heading into April, talking more, it's the big month. It's happening. It's probably hitting the ground running as we get ready for Indie Bookstore Day. I was thinking about for this Spirit Week element, we've been doing this for I think 3 years, and this was brought to us by a few booksellers that were just very interested in drudging up that excitement for the week, especially if maybe you don't just celebrate Indie Bookstore Day on that Saturday. Maybe it is a week-long like passport experience or a 2-week experience or a month long or whatever it is that you want to extend the celebration to. So we have these different theme days that kind of add to that excitement. You can have your customers participate too. A lot of folks just do a lot of social media posts based on the themes that are there. I've linked some examples of what stores have done in the past that you can feel free to utilize. But yeah, I also think it's a good idea when maybe customers aren't aware, like just like the example of stores not knowing that it's Indie Bookstore Day, customers may also not be aware, as much as we push it out and market it on social media and everything. So if they happen to stop through the store earlier in the week, that's another way to kind of talk about like, hey, like come back on Saturday or shop online or however you want to share that knowledge that it is Indie Bookstore Day. So then we head into just more promotional experiences. I just met with Libro FM earlier this week to talk about their promos, so they'll get that information out soon, and then Bookshop as well. So just looking for other opportunities to share about the day and to bring in some more sales for different audiobooks or ebooks or through the online shop at Bookshop. We will be sending out a sell-through survey on I think it's the Monday after Indie Bookstore Day, and this is really critical for sharing with publishers. So every exclusive that we have is by talking with the publishers based off the ideas that you all have. Kim and Susan are both on the Indie Bookstore Day Advisory Council, so they've weighed in with a lot of the exclusives and different ideas. So we want to go back to them and say, hey, like, X exclusive sold out. Next year, if you want to do something similar, maybe up the quantity or offer something very similar in nature to that. So those we really want folks to fill out just so we can get that data to them. We've already started planning, can you believe it, for 2026. I cannot, oh my goodness, it's unreal. But we started the process earlier on the publisher side, just so they're thinking about their authors for the coming year. We're giving them a few extra months to look at their release calendars and see what could tie into Indie Bookstore Day for 2026. So we're hoping that yields some different or more unique options as we move forward. And then let's see, not much else for the rest of the month by month. I'm going to flip the page and let me know if you can see it or not. Did that work? Okay. No? Oh my goodness. Very strange. Maybe I'll just keep it like this. Is this all right if I just keep it off the, okay. So these are just tips and refreshers. If you've had events in the past, this is probably not new to you. It might just be more people coming through than usual. So maybe just reviewing some of these guides of like crowds. What does that look like? Susan had mentioned there was a line to see the llamas or to come into the store, but they were giving out food or kind of moving the line along a little bit more quickly. So just thinking about that and what your staffing looks like for that day. Can I move this? All right. And then here are the examples. I'm not going to go into these too many details here, but just to give you some ideas of different giveaways, depending on what your budget looks like, there's a whole range of things you can do, different entertainment, different activities, working with local like eateries. We've had a lot of folks pop up at breweries for the day as well. So that is an example there. And partnership and crawls. So depending on how lofty or how big the crawl is, there probably, it just depends on if you want to start now or if there's a crawl already in existence that you want to jump into or reach out to the lead on. We just have some tips there. Also working with local businesses. We've had some stores in the past work with Books to Prisoners organizations and silent book clubs. But yeah, just really leaning into who's already in your community and who you already have established relationships with, just to make the day even bigger. Social media, we have a bunch of examples here as well. The day of is a little tricky because you're probably very, very busy. So there's a lot of stuff you can do ahead of time for promoting what you're going to be doing, to showing off the displays that you have, and then also just thanking your customers the day after or however long it takes you to recover after the busy day. And one more thing as it comes to marketing and social media, we as ABA, we do work with content creators, and that's just another way to kind of expand your reach, we do offer them a small compensation for it. So if you are interested in working with like bookstagrammers or book talkers or whatever that tag you pretty consistently on their content, that might be another means to reach out to them and see if you can offer something small for them for the effort that they're putting into promoting the day itself. I think that is pretty much it. We have, and the last thing I'll say is if you wanted to design and create your own merchandise, we have some guides here on how to use Canva and just simple like design basics of like typeface and different elements that might look good together with what your store logo and the colors that you use normally. So there's some guides as well. So I believe that is all I have, and I will stop sharing to see if there's any questions.
While you wait for a question, may I make a marginally inane comment? I read a book the other night called Bookishly Ever After, and I don't know if you ABA ladies have seen it, but it's about dueling bookstores. It's a romantic comedy. And Independent Bookstore Day is a huge plot element, very realistically depicted, and it goes into all the ABA stuff and what you guys do, and you need to look at it. Bookishly Ever After, pseudonymously written by Mia Page, a former bookseller from Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Susan. Courtney.
Yeah, I didn't know.
We do have a question in the chat, and it's about marketing. Summer says that she's seeing a lot of indie bookstore day rather than independent bookstore day. Is there a preference, and what should people be using as a hashtag?
Yeah, great question. So we realized that Independent Bookstore Day, when we're typing it out, is rather long. So the quick answer is Indie Bookstore Day. That's the hashtag because it is shorter. So we've moved away, if you weren't aware, we moved away from the actual acronym IBD since we've gotten some feedback, which is totally rightfully so. It's also relating to a disorder. So we've gotten away from using those 3 letters, and to kind of keep it short, we put it to Indie Bookstore Day, just so it's, you're not spending all your time like typing that in on different platforms and using the hashtag. You can use both. We use them both as well when we're tagging things, but to make it a little quicker and shorter, Indie Bookstore Day, you can use them both. So I hope that answers that. I do have a small plug because I did mention the advisory council. So this is made up of at least 2 bookstore members in each region. And we meet a few times to go over the exclusives for the year. And we're always looking for more advisors since it's a 2-year term. So we always have some flipping in the summer. So I'll be reaching out in probably the next few newsletters to see if there's any interest. And you can have as much experience with Indie Bookstore Day. This could be your first year, your 20, whatever. We just love to hear folks' opinions and thoughts and to kind of guide us in what would make sense exclusives wise and what your needs are as we celebrate. So, yeah.
Thank you, Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
So we are almost at time. I want to thank all of the great panelists for being here with us today. It's been a nice break from the usual stuff of the day. I hope everyone is getting prepared for Independent Bookstore Day. Courtney, do you want to drop your email in the chat just in case folks have questions for you?
Yeah, I'll do that, and the sign up link for the participation form if you haven't done that yet. So
I will let everybody take a moment to grab Courtney's information and the sign up link. Sign up, be one of those 1,200 stores. What a great turnout. I remember when it was a much smaller set than that. It's a good job. And thank you, everybody, for being here. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.
Thank you for listening to Booked, the bookstore education podcast brought to you by the American Booksellers Association. Don't forget to subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast app. Additional educational resources can always be found on the ABA website at www.bookweb.org. Happy reading!